My name is Steve Dangle and I like rivalries. And if you're a hockey fan, you do too, because that's the best kind of hockey. Two teams that hate each other. At very least, it's the best TV. Which is why I love the most recent installment of the Montreal Canadiens versus the Boston Bruins. What? The Habs Bruins are playing tonight? I wonder who's gonna get fined or suspended. Better spin the wheel. And this time it landed on Milan Lucic. Jack of all trades, Milan Lucic. And a thought occurred to me, and it pains me as a Leaf fan. The Habs Bruins rivalry is just so much better than the Habs Leafs rivalry. There's just so much more hate. Is that the best rivalry in the NHL, the Habs and the Bruins? I would argue it is. You know why? Because it's money in the bank. If you tune into a game between those two, you will not be disappointed, guaranteed. I mean, unless you're a fan of one of those teams and they lose. The laser pointer, Yuri Sekach's dad's reaction to the goal, Marchand doing that terrible thing to PK Subban, Milan Lucic getting a fine. It's just too much. And by too much, I mean not enough. Give me more. When do they play again? So I'm wondering, what are some of the other best rivalries in the league? And what are some of the ones that we're told are rivalries? We accept that they're rivalries. We tell ourselves they're rivalries, but really, are they? Rivalries, real rivalries in the National Hockey League, are a luxury of good teams. Sure, there are exceptions to the rule. I mean, Toronto and Montreal don't like each other. Usually their games are pretty good, but it's a rivalry between the fan bases more than anything. That rivalry started to pick up again with Mikhail Grabowski going crazy and everything, and then the Leafs bottom out. And they play each other and it's entertaining, but they haven't played each other in the playoffs since 1979. To give you an idea of how long ago that was, at the time, the Leafs Stanley Cup drought was only 12 years. I could just imagine Leaf fans back then going, this drought is terrible. You don't know the half of it. So of course the Leafs and the Habs have a rivalry, but really? I got another one. This is sacrilege. Calgary and Edmonton. Toronto-Montreal loses a lot of points because Montreal has had a lot of recent playoff success and the Leafs have not. Calgary and Edmonton have both been pretty much equally futile. I'm sure they would place their hatred on any of the teams they play in the playoffs if they ever made it there. So instead, they hate each other. A game between the Flames and the Oilers is a game that both fan bases can actually say, you know, we got a real shot at winning tonight. You know who I think has plenty of rivals? The Vancouver Canucks. They struggled last season, but let's face it, for like half a decade, they were arguably the best team in the entire National Hockey League. They just don't have a cup to show for it. But they did make it to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final and 2 President's Trophies. It's amazing how many people have already forgotten that the Canucks ran the show for a while. And nobody liked the Canucks for a very long time because nobody likes getting beaten. And people will be quick to go, yeah, but they whine and they dive and Burrows with the biting. Alright, fine, but you wouldn't care if they sucked. You know what could be a growing rivalry? Columbus-Pittsburgh. How about Tampa Bay and anybody they play? How about Dallas and anybody they play? How about the Chicago Blackhawks and anybody they play? Good teams, playoffs, national and international attention. That is what builds a rivalry. So let me know what you think. Tweet at me. Are rivalries just a privilege of good teams? Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. And if you hated it, tell me to shut right up. And then we'll be rivals.